G'day, legends! You're tuned into the 3CIR podcast. I'm Joel Slate Cairns, former military, equal parts coffee and chaos, and very ready to get stuck in.
And I'm Ryan Jury Delaney. Slightly less caffeine, slightly more charm. And mate, I'm still laughing at you power walking into the studio like we were doing a pack march.
Habit dies hard. You keep your pace high, your standards higher, and your banter just low enough to pass inspection. But seriously, welcome. If this is your first time with us, 3CIR is built by vets for vets, and for our emergency services family and any civilians who want to level up. We're about recognition of prior learning, online quals, and turning lived experience into real-world opportunity.
And we mean it when we say built by vets. 3CIR came out of that moment we all hit after service where you think, right, who actually gets what we've done? Courage, commitment, camaraderie, integrity, respect. That's not just a branding exercise. Those 5 are how we operate and why we show up. We know the transition can feel like going from a secure convoy to hitchhiking. Same person, different rules.
Exactly. And today, we're on a mission. Military RPL from 3CIR is a great option, not in a generic salesy way, but in a it changes your trajectory way. We're unpacking 5 reasons RPL is a weapon for your career toolkit, especially if you're stepping off from the ADF and into Civvy Street.
If you're listening on your commute, in the gym, or scrolling while your dog pretends a sock is a combatant, keep your ears open. We'll give you concrete examples, call out the gaps, and later on we'll tease what's coming next. How RPL can be the reason you stop repeating training, save cash, and get paid what you're worth. But let's start where most of us start.
You've got skills, but no civilian qualifications. That line hits. We've all seen it. You've run a section through a complex activity, accounted for millions in kit, handled WHS risks without blinking, and then some job ad wants a certificate I-FI in leadership and management before they let you lead 5 people in an office.
Or you've written more risk assessments than you've had hot meals, and suddenly it's sorry mate, do you have a formal WHS qualification? It's like being asked for a ticket to a show you've been headlining for years.
That mismatch is what recognition of prior learning exists to fix. RPL takes what you've done, real skills, real outcomes, and maps it to nationally recognized qualifications. Not a pat on the back, actual quals you can put on a resume that passed the HR filter and the recruiter's sniff tester.
And the vibe shift is huge. And instead of feeling undervalued, you've got a piece of paper that says, this person is qualified, you've earned it. The paper just catches up with your life. We'll break down the 5 big reasons Military RPL from 3CIR is such a good option. But quickly, can we talk about that recognition bit?
Hit it.
You've worked hard and deserve recognition. This isn't a pep talk, it's a fact. The hours, the training, the deployments, the on-call, the nights where the plan turned to spaghetti and you still landed it, that's worth something. RPL assessments look at your skills against nationally recognized standards. If you meet them, you don't redo them.
And that's the part that gets me fired up. No unnecessary training, no going back to square one like none of it happened. You get recognized for what you've already mastered. Then, if there's a gap, you target it. Efficient, respectful. Adult learning done properly.
Okay, let's get to the 5. Reason 1, fast track your career. When you use Military RPL through 3CIR, you can get those quals quicker, which means you start applying for the roles you're actually ready for, not the ones 2 rungs down.
Example time. Say you were a section commander or a petty officer leading a team. Translating that to a Certificate I-4 or Diploma of Leadership and Management puts you in the frame for team leader and operations supervisor roles now, not after another year of courses you could teach in your sleep.
Or you were signals, comms, or cyber adjacent. RPL can map chunks of your capability to qualifications that get your foot in the cyber or ICT door. Then you might add a bit of targeted upskilling. Not 12 months of basics, just the specific modules you need. Fast track means momentum.
And momentum is what most people lose in the transition. There's a hesitation. Am I ready? Am I qualified? Am I worth what I think I am? With RPL, you're not pretending, you're proving. Fast track is about getting you to that proof fast.
Reason 2, save time and money. This one's simple. Every hour you aren't repeating training is an hour you can use to build networks, apply for roles, or pick up skills you actually need. And the financial side, if you can RPL most of a qualification, you're not paying for the parts you already know.
One of my favourite lines from people post RPL is, "I didn't realise how much I'd already done." The assessor sits with you, goes through your evidence, and you suddenly see it. "Oh, I've already met these units of competency." That's time back with your family, money back into your pocket, and a qualification on your CV without spending a year proving what you've already proven.
And just to flag, some of you have volunteer experience that counts, SES, RFS, surf lifesaving, community leadership roles. That evidence can support your RPL. We've seen folks from volunteer firefighting translate incident management and safety into qualifications. It all adds up.
Reason 3, demonstrate your skills and experience to employers. This is where the rubber meets the road. You might be brilliant, but if a recruiter can't tie it to a nationally recognized qualification or a job ad requirement, you get filtered out.
It's like showing your license before you drive. You can be the best driver in the world. Someone still needs to see the card. An RPL-backed qualification says, yes, I've led teams. Yes, I've managed risk. Yes, I've delivered projects. You still tell the stories in interviews, but you've ticked that first box.
And we're not just talking leadership. We're talking WHS, HR, project management, business, security, government. If your service saw you coordinating stakeholders, tracking budgets, writing SOPs, or planning operations, that's project management. If you built training packages, that's learning and development. If you investigated incidents and put controls in place, that's WHS.
Let me throw in a civilian translation. I had a mate who spent years in logistics, ammo, vehicles, the whole circus. Civvy term? Supply chain. He got RPL into a qualification that let him walk into a warehouse operations role with authority. He didn't become capable, he just got recognized for it. Or
Reason 4, build your confidence. Honestly, this one's underestimated. There's a mental gear shift when you see a qualification with your name on it. Imposter syndrome drops. You apply for jobs you would have scrolled past. You negotiate salary with a straight back.
the first time I saw an old teamie put certified on his email signature after an RPL outcome, he stood taller. It's not about titles, good eyes, it's about identity. You go from I used to be to I am, and when that next interviewer asks why you're a fit, you answer without hedging.
And reason 5, show your commitment to professional development. Employers want people who grow. Getting your RPL is you saying I'm serious. I've consolidated what I know and I'm ready to keep learning. It signals integrity and drive. Our 5 tenets in action. Courage to start, commitment to finish, camaraderie because you leaned on your network for evidence, integrity in how you present your experience, and respect for your own journey.
That combination is powerful. You stand out not just because you have experience, but because you've demonstrated you care about doing the civilian thing properly, and that's attractive to hiring managers who don't want to babysit, they want self-starters.
Now, if you're thinking, all right lads, what does 3CIR actually do in this? Fair. 3CIR is a leading provider of RPL assessments in Australia with assessors who understand veteran and emergency services experience. They've built military RPL assessments designed to fast-track you and give you the recognition you deserve.
The process is straightforward. There's a free RPL assessment to start, no pressure, just a conversation to understand your background. You provide evidence, service records, course reports, position descriptions, commendations, training logs, even rosters or plans you authored, and the assessors map that against qualification requirements. If you meet them, you're good. If there are gaps, they'll outline what's needed, which can be targeted and minimal.
No need to reinvent the wheel or repeat training that you could deliver. And here's a heads up, volunteer experience can support your case. Don't leave it out because you weren't paid. If you ran an incident response as a volunteer firefighter or coordinated safety in a community event, that's evidence of competence.
Also, 3CIR has a bunch of videos you can watch to get your head around different fields: leadership, HR, WHS, security, business, marketing, government, project management. Short, digestible, and a good way to think, oh yeah, that's me, I've done that.
Let me circle back to the pain point we hear most: being undervalued. If you've ever been told you're overqualified but undercertified, RPL is the lever that flips that. You're not starting from zero. You're starting from lived experience, and the paperwork catches up.
And there's a psychological piece we've touched on, but I want to amplify. Coming out of the ADF or emergency services, you're leaving a uniform that instantly communicates competence. The civvy world doesn't see that badge. RPL gives you a civvy badge. Doesn't define you, but it opens doors so you can show who you are.
Let's get tangible. Suppose you're ex-infantry with section command. Possible RPL outcomes: Certificate IV in Leadership and Management, maybe elements of WHS or Security Operations depending on your evidence. You might aim for Operations Supervisor roles, Team Leader in Logistics or Manufacturing, or move into WHS Officer roles with targeted bridging.
Signals or communications, you could build toward ICT support roles, cyber operations support, or network admin, with RPL covering leadership and project coordination components and targeted training for the tech-specific parts.
Medic or someone from health support. Your clinical scope might be different in Civiland, but RPL can support health administration, practice management, or leadership in healthcare settings. You're not starting from scratch, you're translating
Military police, security, or intelligence. Think security management, risk, investigations, government. You've worked with compliance and evidence chains. RPL helps formalize that.
logistics, supply, movements. You're already a supply chain person. RPL can formalize business and project management pieces and bump you into coordinator or planner roles quickly.
And for the fireys, Amboss, SES crews listening, first off, thank you. Your incident management, risk mitigation, community engagement. Those translate into WHS, leadership, and government roles. Don't undersell it. RPL is your friend.
Let's talk evidence for a minute. People always ask, what do I need to show? Think outcomes, not just, I attended a course, but I used it. Documents you created, plans you executed, reports you wrote, feedback you received. That's where 3CIR's assessors help. They've seen it all and can guide you on what lands.
And the best part of that first step, the free assessment, is you'll walk away with a plan even if you decide to hit pause. This is your career. You get to drive the timeline. For some, it's fast. For others, it fits around work and kids. Both are fine.
I want to tackle a myth. Some folks think RPL is cutting corners. It's not. RPL is a formal assessment method under the national framework. It's not about lowering the bar, it's about assessing the skills you already have against the standard. If you meet it, you shouldn't be made to jump through hoops just to tick a box.
Exactly. And it aligns with adult learning principles we all appreciate. Respect prior knowledge, focus on gaps, be efficient. If you've already done it, then the goal is to capture it, not redo it.
Now, how do these 5 reasons show up in real life? Let's stack them. You fast-track your career by getting qualifications quickly. You save time and money by not repeating training. You demonstrate your skills to employers by having accredited, nationally recognized quals on your CV. You build confidence because you can see it in black and white, and you prove you're committed to professional development, which sets you apart.
And on that last point about PD, keep your eye on the long game. Employers love people who invest in learning. RPL is the foundation. Then you add bricks. Maybe you RPL into a certificate IV and later build to a diploma with a small amount of additional study. It's a trajectory, not a one-off.
We had someone write in last month who said their RPL outcome helped them jump 2 pay bands. It wasn't magic. They had the experience, but the qualification opened the interview door, and then their stories closed the deal. That's the pattern we see over and over.
There's also the creativity piece. If you're thinking of starting a business, RPL into business or project management can give you the structure language investors and clients respect. And 3CIR's videos on business and marketing are a handy primer, especially if your marketing plan used to be a whiteboard and a handshake.
Don't knock the handshake, but do add a marketing plan. Yeah, you can check out those videos across leadership, HR, WHS, security, business, marketing, government, project management. They're bite-sized and actually useful, not fluffy.
I want to pause on WHS because it's a massive hiring space. If your service had you running risk assessments, toolbox talks, incident investigations, or putting controls in place, that is straight up WHS competence. RPL can formalize that so you're credible when you walk into a safety officer or advisor role. And in Australia, WHS is taken seriously. You're not learning brand new ideas, you're learning the local dialect of a language you already speak.
Speaking of dialects, translating your military terms to civilian ones matters. In an RPL process, you'll learn how to frame your experience in employer language. Patrol becomes site visit. Mission becomes project. SITREP becomes status report. You don't lose your identity, you expand your vocabulary.
Right? And taking that step does wonders in interviews. You can still say, we pulled together as a team under pressure, but now it lands as stakeholder management, time-critical decision-making and risk mitigation. That's how you get past the ATS filter and into the conversation where you shine.
Let's talk timeline. People ask how long RPL takes. It depends on your evidence and the qualification, but it's often weeks to a couple of months, not years. That's why fast track isn't just a slogan. And because you're not sitting in a classroom relearning fundamentals, you're moving while life moves.
And the cost bit, but the save money component, is personal. We've seen people who RPL'd into a qualification that landed them a better paying role in weeks, not months. That delta matters. When you're supporting a family or trying to get into your first home, shaving months off the journey is a big deal.
I want to address one more group. Civilians who've worked in high-pressure environments without formal quals. Maybe you've been a crew leader on the tools, a shift supervisor, or managed volunteers. RPL isn't just for veterans, it's for anyone with proven skills. The same logic applies, your experience matters. 3CIR works with civilians as well as veterans and emergency services.
That mix is what I love about 3CIR's community. You get veterans sharing lessons with firefighters, nurses swapping tips with security pros, and civilians asking the right questions. It's camaraderie that doesn't end at the barracks door.
If this is resonating, here's your action step. Go to 3CIR's site and start with the free RPL assessment. It costs nothing to find out where you stand. Poke around the videos, leadership, HR, WHS, security, business, marketing, government, project management, and picture your path.
While you're thinking paths, let's throw a couple of job ad examples. You might see roles asking for a certificate IV in work health and safety, diploma of leadership and management, certificate IV in human resource management, or a project management qualification. With RPL, your ADF or emergency services experience can count toward those. Then it's a short hop to paperwork you can actually point to.
And if you're wondering about the interview piece after that, later in the season we're doing a whole chat on resumes and storytelling. How to take your RPL outcomes and craft a CV that lands, with bullet points that actually sound like you. We'll get into how to describe complex tasks without drowning in jargon.
Plus, we're lining up an episode on negotiating pay once you've got the qual and the offer on the table. Because, mate, if you've spent years making decisions that mattered, you can ask for a salary that reflects it. We'll give you the phrases and the prepper.
Before we close, let's run a quick myth-busting lightning round. People say, won't HR think RPL is the easy way out? No. RPL is a recognized pathway that employers and regulators understand. The qualification is the qualifications.
Is RPL only for big ticket roles? Also, no. It works across levels from Cert IVs through diplomas and beyond, depending on your evidence and goals.
Do you have to quit your job to do it? Absolutely not. RPL fits around your life. You gather evidence, have assessor conversations, and get assessed. Less classroom, more consolidation.
Last one. What if I'm missing a chunk? Then you fill the specific gap. It might be a short course, a unit, or some targeted training. That's still faster and cheaper than starting from scratch.
All right. I want to finish with a story that brings all 5 reasons together. A mate of mine, 10 years in, did operations planning and led teams in some gnarly contexts. He felt stuck applying for supervisor roles and getting ghosted. He did a free RPL assessment with 3CIR, mapped into a diploma of leadership and management and components of project management. He didn't have to repeat training, he focused on 2 units he needed. In 6 weeks, he had the qualification. Confidence up, CV updated, interviews started coming. He ended up in an operations manager role he used to think required a degree and 2 years he didn't have. Fast track? Tick. Save time and money? Tick. Demonstrate skills? Tick. Build confidence? Big tick. Show commitment. The employer said that exact phrase in the offer call.
That's the arc. Not fairy dust, just recognition, structure, and momentum, and you deserve that. If you're ex-military, emergency services, or a civilian with real runs on the board, RPL is worth a proper look. 3CIR's been doing this long enough to know how to make it smooth.
Also, to everyone who's nervous about starting, remember the 5 tenets we opened with. Courage to take the first step, commitment to see it through, camaraderie because you're not doing this alone, integrity in how you present your experience, and respect for where you've been and where you're going. That's the thread through all of this.
And if your brain is yelling, yeah, but is it for me? I'll say this, get the free assessment. Worst case, you learn exactly what you need. Best case, you fast track your next chapter. Either way, you're moving forward.
Before we roll out, quick plug for the 3CIR resources. If you're curious about specific fields, jump into those video overviews: leadership, HR, WHS, security, business, marketing, government, project management. They'll help you pin your experience to a pathway and give you language you can use in applications.
And keep an eye on the site for stories like yours. Veterans launching startups, fireys stepping into WHS leadership, medics moving into health admin, signals crew pivoting into cyber support. There's a path, mate. There really is.
Next episode, we're zeroing in on the nuts and bolts of how RPL progresses your career without making you repeat training. We'll talk cost effectiveness, where in your career RPL gives you the biggest bang, and how it tangibly increases your prospects. We'll get into the earn more across your career piece, tune your resume, and show you how 3CIR helps you gain recognition for prior learning and actually move up.
We'll also share a few scripts you can use when a recruiter asks, oh, what changed? You'll have a clean answer that connects the dots from service to qualification to impact, and we'll pepper it with stories because we know that's what sticks.
All right, time to let you get on with your day. If you found this helpful, share it with a mate who's in that skills but no ticket limbo. Start the free assessment, browse the videos, and remember why you started. You've already done the hard part.
You really have. And we've got your back for the next steps. Catch you in the next one, where we help you progress your career, skip the redo, and turn your experience into opportunity. Stay safe, stay sharp, and keep moving.